Super. So I think I can get us off. So yeah, welcome to our first All Exco half-year check-in. We thought it would be good to have a bit of a reflection point, how PACE has grown, and also how we as an executive committee have come together and grown. It's been a really exciting journey since 2021, when actually Andile and I went out when PACE was a two human being entity, and now we're closer to 30 people. So really exciting journey of growth that came with lots of formalization, lots of structuring, and it's really exciting that now in 2025 we actually for the first time have a formal structure, and we have found, I think, our feet as Exco and how we want to move the strategy and direction of PACE and how we work together, and yeah, it's been a really nice year finding each other, and we thought it would be lovely to share that a little more widely. So we're looking forward to our first little PACE Exco talk. And yeah, I'm Lawrence Machlanza-Langer. I'm the executive director. And yeah, maybe Andile, you can take it from here.
Sure. Thank you so much, Lawrence, for that intro. So my name is Andile Madonsela, and I am the Director of Innovation and Equity from the Pan-African Collective for Evidence. And I think I have the Fund Directorate, which really is set up to ensure that we place PACE as a global leader in equitable and innovative approaches to evidence-informed decision making.
Hi, everyone. I am Zafir Robert. I am the Director of Programs and Impact, and I think I also have a fun directorate. It's something I really enjoy. Yeah.
I am Siziwe Ngwabe. I am the Director for People and Operation. I think my directorate, is it fun? But it's life-changing, it's pace-changing to ensure that we build all the systems and take care of our people.
Yeah. And yeah, it really took us a while to find these directorates, because we had lots of individual projects, we had lots of areas of work that came together, sectoral, for example, in gender, how Andile was working. At the same time, because we were growing so much, we really needed people and operations support. So it took us a while to find these directorates, but it's nice how they come together, how they intersect. But Zafir, how was it for you when we kind of poached you from 3IE? So when we came to you and first talked to you about this directorate, what was the actual reaction when we started talking about it?
I think I was really excited. You know, I've kind of always been kind of engaging with the PACE team, and I think one of the things that really stood out to me, you know, is just kind of how well developed and close the relationships are within the team and outside of the team. You know, I think even with the government colleagues that you work closely with, there's always that kind of, you know, you get a sense of Ubuntu almost. So yeah, I was excited. Yeah, I was I really enjoyed my time at 3IE, you know, really, I did. And I think that was kind of, yeah, it was a bittersweet kind of transition. And I'm really happy to have been poached, rather, yeah.
Yeah, and we're happy you've managed to get you here. And then, so Andile, for you, I mean, this started for you as a single project, largely by yourself in 2021, to now a team of how many exactly in the whole directorate? So how has that journey been?
Yeah, it's been quite a journey. Just also thinking about how when I started, I had like 5 titles because of just how many roles I was handling. But now I'm happy that we bring all those titles into this one very great directorate, which then has also very nice people that are part of the team. So we are focusing on gender, on AI, and also on innovations, of course. So I think it's very nice how it has come together over time.
I think what drew me to operations, I think my background is really in social work, where I take care of people and make sure that, you know, systems are working. And also at the time, I had a conversation with Lawrence as well to say, I want to transition to something else, because I was doing the work with the Africa Evidence Network for a very long time. So I got to know everything that has to do with that. So I was like, I need something else to challenge me and start afresh and build that excitement again.
I think one of the biggest transitions I've had, you know, is kind of having a collective Exco, right? So, you know, I think that has been a really valuable approach. You know, I always like to kind of see what were your thoughts.
Yeah. So I think the value of collective leadership or the collective Exco is how we bring diverse voices, right, and diverse perspective and insights. I think all of us have different backgrounds to an extent, and we represent sort of different voices within PACE as well. So I think that is where the power of collective leadership really lies. I don't know what do you see the value, Cecilia?
Um, the value of collective leadership for me is the fact that we're able to collaborate. Even if you know that you don't have a particular skill, but you can rely on the other team members because they bring different strengths and I bring a different strength, then together we're able to, support each other and make sure that we continuously grow in different aspects of building a collective leadership.
And I think that in a way this comes a full circle with how we think about evidence-informed decision making. So some of you might know the slogan of the Africa Evidence Network is only together can EIDM become a reality. And I think that is essentially what we're trying to model in a smaller way at our Exco, that we bring different leadership styles, we bring different complementary skills. And that's exactly what you need to build an organization that is set out to broker knowledge. Because to broker knowledge, you need to be really good at technical evidence and research and data skills. You need to be really good at the human relationship building element of brokering and having relations and building trust and connecting people. And you need to be really good at the political interface. So working in a political environment, advice, strategy. So there's not a single leadership style that is probably equally good at all three of them. And that's why it's so nice to have this collective approach to how we run the organization and how we have very different leadership styles. And yeah, it would be nice to hear. I mean, like, Andile, what do you think is my leadership style?
I think because you're such a type A personality, so I feel like your leadership style is very structured. Let's make plans. Let's plan this. It's very structured, and I think it really helps us to be able to be accountable and responsible. But I always feel the pressure to really bring a fresh perspective as the youngest member of Exco. Of course, I always have to sort of question why we do things. I think this really relates to the person I am. Even I think my dad always says that I'm defiant, and it's not a compliment. So I feel like that's the spirit that I bring to this Exco as well, to say, okay, but why are we making that decision? But who's gonna what us? Who's gonna? So I think I really love the voice that I bring as well. I don't know, what voice do you think you bring, Zafir?
So I think I'll start with how nice it is to have an Exco that's just so open, right? That we are allowed to express ourselves as a collective. I think that has been a really, really nice, meaningful kind of journey. And at least from the beginning of the year to now, just kind of seeing how different elements of that are coming. And I do know Lawrence's structure does come out sometimes with the SOPs. Yeah. It's quite, but to be honest, I think I also find myself sometimes really focused on structure. I do there's this line sometimes that I find really tricky to navigate, is kind of tying in the structure. Like we do have, a lot of important work and, tight timelines, but also like kind of the human element to really focus on our team. Also, our funders, partners, communities that we serve as well. So I think there's kind of a lot of layers there.
Yeah, I think you got my side. Just to comment on Lawrence's style, his attention to detail is insane, right? And then you feel, okay, I need to improve and make sure that my attention to detail is that level, because at least you're looking at your peers and saying, I have to be better because I'm working with different people and exploring different aspects. And then when you work with Andile, there's so much youthfulness in her approach. And then when you are at my age particularly, you feel, you are young to be, because you are part of the Exco. And with Zafir, he really, thinks through. He has that silent moment when he's thinking about something, and then he will share whatever he's thinking. So I think from my side, I bring sort of a servant approach, where I have that ability to, to be empathetic in how I do things and how I ensure that people are empowered in terms of how they do their work. So I lean more into the servant or transformational leadership style, where I am more empowering and more empathetic in how I do things. Yeah.
But I think what is common, as much as we have different leadership styles, what is common is that we are always concerned about the humans. I think the way in which we approach things is very human-centered. We're always worried about the people that we work with and we work along with. So I think that's really, I love that as a core value of ours, that we're very inclusive and we're very human-centered as well, and that speaks to all of our leaderships. I think every time we are faced with a problem, we don't think about the priorities of the organization, but we think of the people first and how they will receive that. So I think I love that about us.
Yeah, and I think just in terms of the problem, right, every organization does have them, and it's nice to have a kind of, a group where we can really soundboard some of our ideas, and a lot of the time even just get really good sense checks, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think the journey as well for me, it doesn't feel you're isolated, right? You know that you have people to talk to and people that will support you in terms of when you're doing your work. So you don't feel like you're an island. So which is what I like, where I know that I have 3 good people that I can rely on and they will support me in the decisions that I'm making, and also, help me reflect as well in how I want to manage different situations as we go along, growing together as well.
I mean, what you said is so true, Susie, but let's also be honest. You have a youngster, little kindergarten sometimes to manage as well. So I think what you bring to Exco is this massive wealth of wisdom and life experience, having built a foundation, like an actual foundation in your community, both here in Gauteng and in the Eastern Cape, having raised the village essentially. So we benefit massively from that wisdom. I think that grounding, that sometimes is parenting, for lack of a better word, helps Exco massively, and so I think that's very much part of your leadership.
My word is collaboration.
Accountability.
Fresh perspective.
That's 2 words. My word is details.
So the biggest milestone for my directorate is really being able to define what my directorate is. I think it sounds nice when you say Director of Equity and Innovation. What is innovation? What is equity? And what does it mean to set up PACE as a global leader in equity and innovative approaches to EIDM? So one of the things that we had to do at the beginning of the year was to think about what actually is a directorate, what are some of the objectives, what are some of the milestones, what are some of the sort of stuff that you need as part of the directorate. So I think that's one milestone. I was really proud of the work that I came up with. The mission and vision really speaks to the main vision and mission of PACE. So I think that's the first milestone. The second milestone is that I was able to get the British Academy grant, which really allowed me to then test out 2 innovations. So I just started and already I'm testing out 2 innovations. So it's really amazing. So the one innovation that I am doing is social media analysis to get social media insights, citizen voices, to understand what people are saying about the just transition in South Africa. And the second one is that we are also looking at gender equity in just transition efforts as well. So I was really proud to be able to get that grant so that we really kick off the directorate on a good note. And then the last one, definitely not least, is the launch of the National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. And that is a living evidence map that I've been leading on since day one, really. This is since 2020. So it finally got launched in public and it got like really great sort of backing from the Minister of the National Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation, which is something that we have been trying to get. So it's very nice to see a senior person within government really get excited about the work that we do and to see value in the work we do as well. So those are some of my milestones. What I saw are some of your milestones, Zafir.
That's tough. Yeah, it's a tough act to follow. But to be honest, I spent a bit of time thinking about this, and there's just a lot, right? A lot that I'm really happy about. I think, it's kind of rolling milestones, but one of the really good things is our team is growing. And through this growth, by kind of absorbing new people, becoming more Pan-African, we're getting different people from different countries, has been really nice to see. And I think also it really, as a milestone, I think I would tailor it closely to our capacity as an organization and kind of the growth that represents. And I think the other the other milestones that I do have in my mind, one is, I think we had a couple of times where we've gotten to travel and meet a lot of our partners, and it's that human-centered thing that I think was really nice. So we had a trip to Kigali where we met a lot of partners that were people or organizations that we work closely with, and I got to kind of meet them in person, engage. That was also really nice. And I think the other one that comes to my mind is the art and science map, which we are currently updating. And I think that is a really interesting body of work. And one of the nice things of it really is that we're finding ways to make it both living and breathing, by using different types of AI to support how quick and how efficient we can do updates. And also I think subsequently also the themes that come from there. But as a milestone, I think kind of having that process in and kind of building the system to keep that living was really a good milestone for me.
Yeah, I think also the growing team is one big aspect. I think when I started my directorate, it was just me, but now I have like a brilliant team of people working, and that has an impact on you.
I think, like Angela said, we had to really, define what our directorates do and what we want to do. And basically, mine is two-pronged. Is how do we make sure that people at PACE know how to navigate to be pacers, because that's what we call them, how you're pacing it and making sure that you deliver on what you need to deliver as a staff member. So, building all those systems and tools to ensure that PACE staff members can be able to navigate working with us at PACE. And also, secondly, in terms of operations, also building those operations whilst transitioning. For me, that is the proudest moment, because it's not easy as an organization when you transition and building systems at the same time to get it right. Though it's still a learning process for us, so it's really exciting to see everything coming together. Bit by bit, but that's the most exciting thing, to see us pacing it as people, seeing our systems develop this well to ensure that we become the best organization in the space. Lawrence, you lead us. How have you been, thinking about all these aspects?
I think you've taken quite a few of mine away, which is nice because it shows how our minds are aligned. Would have definitely emphasized reaching the 30 staff threshold for the first time. That there was something to it. That scary, but definitely a proud moment. And then I think similar how you've both, Andila and Silva, spoke, it's a milestone in itself to have that Exco and structure in place now. So if I look back, we at one point, it was the two of us. At one point, I think Exco meetings were 7 or 8 people. So we never had a clear system. It's you bring in a project and then maybe you're part of leadership, and then people started building portfolios, and then you became a portfolio lead. So it was really iterative and bottom up, but also created a big maze of where it wasn't clear accountabilities and who's responsible for what elements. So being here and having had essentially 8 months together to look at, well, this is all the projects, all the portfolios, and what is the sensible structure, and landing on these 3 directorates and this collective Exco approach, I think that to me is probably like the most satisfying element of it. So sitting here now with our structure, seeing that it's starting to deliver, as Andila said, we've got really high profile cases of evidence use. So that would be my stone, I think.
I think just to echo something that Lawrence has spoken about, we also have an amazing board, right? Because there's sort of a leadership team that is above us, that are guiding us strategically to ensure that we keep to what we said PACE wants to do, and also allow us to be as innovative as we can to make sure that we build the organization and grow it as well.
Yep, that's personal milestone, actually. It was my first ever board meeting. So, that was quite nice. Yeah, it was my first ever board meeting.
Yeah, I think this section of our discussion is looking at what really excites us in terms of doing our work. I can start, I think, working towards a bigger vision, changing or contributing to the reduction of poverty and inequality is a huge task. So every morning when I wake up, I know I have a bigger vision to look to make sure that my contribution changes lives. It's not just about me anymore. It's about how do we change lives in South Africa and even in the continent and even globally, because our work speaks to not necessarily for the continent, but we also, are doing impact globally in terms of the work that we do. So I don't know, Zafir, what excites you about working with PACE?
The level of passion you exude is really hard to come after, to be honest. But I think there's just so many different elements here that really do inspire and excite me both at the same time. I think the work we do, the focus on poverty and inequality, is something that really is close to me, and I think something I genuinely appreciate. And then when you tie in kind of the pioneering aspect in some of the innovations that we are doing, and kind of the the integration of different things, and also the kind of relationships that PACE as an organization has been able to build overall in the overall ecosystem in Africa, specifically target to evidence use has been really something I think inspiring, motivating, exciting. There's just so many really nice adjectives I can add there, but yeah. Andila, any takeaways from you?
Yeah. So just to echo your points, of course, it's really great that we really do work that is meaningful, right? But I think one thing for me is that this work is very challenging. I remember when I started my role many years ago, I thought I'll get to a point where I know everything, and I'm like the master. I think it's good to. I'd like to confirm that that's not a thing. It's very challenging, which really keeps me going. I think I'd be bored to come to work and do the same thing every day, but it's really challenging and keeps you have to think on your toes. You need to be innovative. You need to really engage with stakeholders, different stakeholders that we engage with. So that really keeps me going, because you never know. If you ask me what I'm doing in 2 weeks' time, I'm not really sure. But all I know is that I'll be contributing towards a bigger impact, and that is what I want to do on a day-to-day with my life. What about you, Lauren?
I don't think there's anything to add. You've said it all, full stop. But yeah, so thinking about our transition and transformation journey, I would say it felt like a hike, if I'm honest. It definitely wasn't a sprint. We started talking about it, I think, end of 2023, when we started to grow more rapidly than we would have liked, which is a good problem to have, of course. But that's when we realized we really need to transition into more sustainable organizational structure. And that then became a hike. Maybe we thought initially in the first quarter of 2024, we can just hash out a new structure fast, and that certainly wasn't the case. And thanks to support from the Hewlett Foundation, we had an organizational effectiveness grant and had a year-long process to develop the structure. So certainly a hike. What was most rewarding and satisfying, I think, for me, was to see how it has generally changed the character and composition of PACE. So where we landed was not that anybody had initially suggested. So I think we landed in a point that nobody had foreseen. If I look, Andile, at your portfolio, the colleagues you've hired like Lutfia and others, the faces of PACE have changed a lot. The character of PACE has changed a lot, and the culture of PACE has changed a lot. And that is, on a day-to-day, just super exciting for me. But yeah, it's been a hike, and maybe Siziwe, you were on the operational hike. So what do you think it's a hike? What do you think it was?
I would say a roller coaster, right? Right, like we're all in it. The thrill's great, you know what I mean. Highs, lows, more highs than lows, fortunately, But we're moving really fast. We're kind of geared up, and safety first, strapped in well. But yeah.
But also, I think just to add, it has been life-changing, right? Because you starting something new, and then you're trying to figure it out, not by yourself, but with other people. So it has been really, a moment of reflecting, learning, and seeing how to improve. Because that's always what we want to do. Because if we continuously reflect amongst ourselves and see how to get better at this and better contribute to the bigger vision that we have as PACE, it's always a great thing. You hold on because of that.
And for me, as someone who was here from day one, I would say that it really feels like a fresh start. I think we were really winging it at some point. We were not sure what systems we have or what systems we don't have, what systems are needed. So we're just winging it. I would ask, okay, so Lawrence, what do I do when I want to go and leave?
Just go.
Right. So I think this has really felt like a fresh start, and it feels like we are really beginning to build really good systems and structures that will really stand the test of time. And I think it's beautiful to have been part of that journey.
And I think maybe there's something also I thought it will be great to add as we do this discussion. And I think what is nice about this journey as well, as much as we're trying to figure it out, we also have those opportunities to see how do you empower yourself, right? Because sometimes you feel like, yeah, I'm in a low in terms of this skill. How do I do that? So we have those opportunities where we can, get a coach to support you in this process. So you have this team, you have a coach or whatever you choose to have to make sure that you are supported as you go through this journey, so that it doesn't feel like the roller coaster makes you face down really, but you are roller coasting, but you know that you're going to survive the roller coaster in the journey.
I think probably as the comparatively newer face, right? From the beginning of 2025. So I don't have a lot of historical context of the chaos, right? But at least, within these 8 months, I do want to say, like, it's been a very learning as you go, and kind of figuring things out. And I think that's where, as a team and having this kind of unified approach, like across the team, you know what I mean? And we are a big team, and across all 50 people, we're kind of able to engage and learn from each other. I think for me, that's also been something really nice to see, and getting different people's perspectives. And sometimes, I won't lie, I do feel like I am unsure of some processes still, So it's definitely not a complete recipe that we have, but the ingredients thus far have been really good, right? It's a very good starting point.
Yeah, sure. For me, really, I'm really excited about our growth and to see what else we can achieve. As a team, we are growing, and I'd like to see what other milestones we'll be able to achieve as we tap into some of these emerging topics. I'm really excited to see what we can do as a team, and specifically how we will continue to contribute towards reducing inequality and poverty through the use of evidence. And specifically to our stakeholders that are watching this video, I'd like to say the AEN tagline that only together can evidence-informed decision-making become a reality. So I think it's upon each and every one of us collaborating and working together, bringing all of our strengths together in order for us to really achieve EIDM.
I think, so I think just to carry on that, I think the power of the collective is one of the areas I think that really does show, and I think we just all need to continue to believe in it, and I do believe it is making change. In terms of kind of what excites me about next, we're really fortunate to be talking about growth. There's been a lot of really big changes in the space we work and kind of the scope of work that we do, and, I am mindful of the fact that there in itself is something that we are deeply appreciative for, that we can be thinking of growth, gearing towards growth, and I do believe that we can also show really good value, right, in kind of being committed to the space and kind of having a focal lens on institutionalizing or even just promoting evidence-informed decision-making. And yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at. I really do think that, as Andile said, only upwards from here. Fortunately, in my time, we haven't hit rock bottom. So, it's a good sign that we are moving up, and now we'll be continuing to move up. Susie, I'll hand it over to you.
Great. I think what I'm excited about, already we have our board set up, we have the Exco set up. Now we're working on the next level, which is the senior management team, and build that team as well. And also just strengthen the pay structure. So I'm excited to see how that would look like. And also, I think I'm excited in us also strengthening our operational systems to make sure that everything is working as it should, to make life easier for our pay staff and ourselves as well in running a well-oiled machine organization. And then the one thing I would say to the stakeholders, I think it ties in nicely with what Andile is saying. There's an African proverb that says, a single bracelet does not jingle. So which means we need to work together in collaboration to make sure that we make a difference in the work that we do. So I think I can hand over to Lawrence just to also share his thoughts as well on this aspect.
Yeah, and I think most has been covered. So there's certainly something, as what Sophia said, there's a certain moment in the evidence and development space, both good and bad, with changes in administration, funding levels, but also more collaboration, the evidence synthesis infrastructure, collaborative, for example. So there's a moment here that wasn't anticipated. And then, as Andile was saying, we never anticipated to build PACE where it is now when we started, the two of us. So, and there's a moment, I think, of that coming together. So we didn't anticipate where PACE would be now. We're super happy where it is. There's a certain moment in the ecosystem too, and it's nice to see the two coming together. That I find really exciting. And then on a personal level, really just getting to work with each and every one of you every day. So I think we've worked together since 2017. Sophia, we started working together in 2018, and then I had a break, and now you're back. And then we've spent a lot of time together since 2020. And it's really nice to have this continuity of a team that knows each other well, that trusts each other deeply. And it's just good, really good fun running PACE together with you.
I think we do have a good amount of chemistry, which I hope comes out really strongly. Yeah.